Hey, what's up, guys? Gus here from Dive Talk. We've received, I don't know how many, countless requests to show you dive videos from us. So today you won't even see our faces on this video. I haven't included, our faces, at least, while I'm talking. This is just me talking. Today, I will be showing some videos of me and Woody diving and also some of our friends, some of our buddies as well. These are kind of like old school videos. And for those of you who didn't know, a few days ago, I posted a poll on our community tab. If you haven't subscribed to Dive Talk, please go ahead and do that because that way you get notified when those posts come alive, and I post all the time. And one of them was a poll about what you wanted to see. And one of the options, the one that won, was you wanted to see some old school diving videos from me and Woody. So I went back into, we have a video vault. I have a, really big network attached storage device here at the studio. And I found hundreds of videos from our dives. Obviously, I didn't have the opportunity to cover hundreds of them, so I just picked like 8 of them. And I added them. I created a mix of videos. And what I'll do is I'll actually talk you through what's happening on these videos. If you like to see videos of us diving, if you like scuba diving, please like this video. And like I said, subscribe to the channel. If you hate scuba diving, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe to Dive Talk as well, because it helps us. It helps us so other people can see the content that we create and helps us see, us kind of having fun out there. We don't post a whole lot of videos of us diving. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And again, I'll talk to you through it. It's not a reaction video, more like a breakdown, or I'm just talking to you about it. So here you have David, who's on black, and Woody right here with a white helmet. You know he's old school because Woody's diving with a helmet. He hates diving with a helmet. So I think he was just testing this helmet. And he has that white helmet. And David right here on the left, David Giano. Fun fact, when I got certified in 2019, I didn't even have a rebreather. I actually used David's rebreather to get certified. And that's because I had just ordered mine, and we have pretty much the same model, which is a Kiss Spirit rebreather. So I actually use his to get certified. Obviously, in this day, I'm recording with my camera, and I already have a rebreather. So this was probably in early 2019 or maybe early 2020. I don't remember. It was a couple years ago. All right, so here we are on a ship. Actually, this dive was off the coast of West Palm Beach in Florida. There's actually a lot of current. You can't tell, but you can see that David is swimming against the current because he's not moving. He's moving his legs, he's kicking, but he's actually not moving in place. He's just kind of hovering over this opening in the hull. Notice there's another diver down there on an AP Inspiration rebreather. That's also another rebreather, another brand. And Woody and David actually went inside the wreck. So the other divers that were open circuit in this dive, they were not inside the wreck. Maybe they are not certified to go in overhead environment. David and Woody and myself all happen to be cave divers, so we're perfectly comfortable going inside overhead environments. This one, I don't even think you need an overhead environment certification because it's so wide open that you can see an exit at all times. So I wouldn't mind if you don't have an overhead certification like a cave diving certification and you go inside this one. So you can see Woody's frog kicking and no silt is being disturbed. He knows what he's doing, so he's keeping his buoyancy. He's not touching anything, and he's going to come out of that hole without disturbing anything. So notice that some bubbles are coming out of it. We have fully closed or closed circuit rebreathers, but you see bubbles coming out of it. These bubbles, I'm just going to point them out, are coming out of something called an OPV, or an overpressure valve. So basically, if you have too much air on your counter lungs, the OPV will release the extra air. As you're coming up, the air expands. So if you have too much air on your loop, on your system, the OPV will release the extra air. So you can see now that the extra air has been released, no air is actually coming out of the system. It's a closed circuit rebreather. Now he's letting some air out of his wing. The wing is this thing around the rebreather, this black thing that you see around it. That's what helps us gain buoyancy. So obviously the air expanded that wing as well. So there's two separate things. The rebreather right here and the wing, which is around it, they both have air. The loop right here is circling air through the rebreather, so that air expands, and then the air in the wing expands as well. So Woody is just releasing that manually, and then the OPV releases it out of the rebreather. Right now, we're leaving one wreck, which is the one that Woody and David penetrated, and we're moving into another wreck. This dive site that we're diving is called Governors, and basically the story is, and I don't remember it exactly, but I think the governor of Florida a few years ago took a bunch of boats they had taken away from drug dealers and basically put them out in the ocean, you know, like, I don't know, like a quarter of a mile apart or whatever, and just told the Navy to have at it. Like, just have fun, destroy them. The Navy just shot them. Obviously, why not? Sounds like fun. So they just target practice with those ships, and they sunk them all, and now you can dive them. So the idea is you hit the first one, and then the current kind of drifts you from one to the next. Now, obviously, the current changes depending on conditions. So you can see Woody's being pushed, and me too. I'm right next to him. I'm just holding the camera. You can't see me. But we're all being pushed, drifting with the current. Obviously, trying not to touch the bottom. Although there's nothing on the bottom, it's just sand. You always want to stay away from the bottom, because if there's coral or anything like that, you would damage it. So at times, it seems like we're really, really close, like we're about to bump it. But we know what we're doing. We're staying, you know, away from it. We're staying close, but we're not hitting it. I personally like to be as close as possible to the bottom without touching it, because I get to see details that you can't see from being super up high. Like right now, I'm so high from the ground. I would say I don't know, I would say 12 feet from it, 4 meters from the bottom of the ocean. So obviously I'm nowhere near touching the bottom, but I'm also missing details. Like there could have been a, you know, great white tooth in the bottom. Okay, let me pause right here for a second. There could have been a great white tooth in the bottom, and there's no chance I can see it. All right, so you can see the depth here, 76 feet. So that is, I don't know, like 20 meters or so, maybe a little bit more than that. 12 minutes into the dive, we just finished with wreck number 1. I believe there's 3 wrecks as part of Governor, maybe 4. And these numbers right here that you can see in the middle are my PO2 numbers, or the partial pressure of oxygen that I'm trying to keep during the dive. This I have to maintain manually, and you get better at this with time. I was very, very new in this dive. I can tell because I'm diving with a big blue light. I started diving Orca Torch exclusively a while ago. So I have a big blue light, which is my old light. I actually don't even have this light anymore. I gave it away a long time ago. But I have I was very new in this one, and it's telling me that I'm diving closed circuit. I'm on a rebreather. My bailout gas is 21% oxygen, which is regular air, and I'm 76 feet depth. You know, my depth is 76 feet. I also noticed that my petrol, which is the computer that I'm using, my Shearwater petrol, doesn't have a protector. Right now I have an orange protector, and I also have it mounted on a slate. And you can see it because the computer is kind of covering it, but you can see the white right here. I had a wrist mounted slate. There's a pencil down here, so I could actually flip the computer open and write stuff in it. I got rid of all of that. Now I just have my computer with an orange protector, and I have wet notes on my pocket that I can use to write stuff. So this is very old, but my PO2 is on point. We always try to keep 1.3, and again, I don't want to get super technical, but that was good. So I was just recording it for my own records. I never knew we were gonna have dive talk, and I was gonna show this one day or whatever. This is just for me. All right. So once again, we're making the move from one side to another. There's something on the bottom. I have no idea. Probably aliens. And we're just making the transition. Some of these videos will have audio, by the way. I didn't have audio on this one. And I left the audio on the other ones because I want you guys to hear what we hear underwater. Most people think that you don't hear anything underwater, but actually the ocean has a very interesting sound. You can see Woody right here. He's very, very close to the bottom, but he's not touching anything. So his buoyancy is perfect. And this is harder to do with open circuit. And you can see we're getting here to the second wreck as part of the series of Governor. So the second wreck in this one, I guess the Navy had... they use bigger guns because it's totally destroyed. But Woody it's close to the bottom without touching it, and it's easier for us with rebreathers because our buoyancy doesn't change as we breathe in and out, which is something that will happen when you have a regular tank, when you're in open circuit. As you breathe out, you will probably sink in a little bit, a couple feet, and when you breathe in, you go up a couple feet. So that's why you try to be a little bit away from the bottom so you don't bump into it when you breathe out. On closed circuit rebreathers, your buoyancy is not affected by your breathing, so I can be an inch from the bottom, and whether I breathe in and out, no problem. All right, so here we go, sound. All right, so here we found a ledge that we can stay away from the current, so the current is blowing over us, but under the ledge, we can actually find turtles. So I don't know if you can see, there's a loggerhead turtle right there sleeping. I love loggerhead turtles. They're very common in the Mediterranean, like Turkey and Greece. They're the most common sea turtle over there. You can still find them in Florida. They're really big. They get to like 350, 400 pounds, so like almost 200 kilos. And they can hold their breath up to 7 hours, so they can actually sleep down there for up to 7 hours. They go down there, they wedge themselves into a crevice, just like you can see, or you could see earlier, and they just go to sleep for like 7 hours. How awesome is that? Like, don't bother me, I'm gonna take a nap, see you later. Go log myself into a crevice and go to sleep. They live for over 70 years, and they've been around for over 100 million years. So, yeah, they're doing just fine. So here we go, David and Woody. We're all inside this, this little crack on the ground that we found away from the current, and just checking out the marine life. Visibility is not great. You can see that there's a lot of, everything is disturbed by the current, but we're able to, to follow along and swim around. Now I want you to focus on the sound. That is how the ocean sounds underwater. It sounds like if somebody was frying eggs near you. I'm still showing my PO2. We're 111 minutes into this dive. Well, let me go back for a second. So you can see we're 111 minutes into this dive at this point. That is almost 2 hours. So you can see 111 minutes. The depth is 57 feet. We're still, at 1.3 PO2, which is great. So I'm maintaining that. And again, that's the beauty of rebreathers. NDL stands for no decompression limit, is how long I can stay here without having a required decompression stop, meaning, in simple terms, for how long can I be here and still just go to the surface if I have to right now. And the highest number you can get is 99, which means unlimited. So if I keep my PO2, my partial pressure of oxygen, at this time, I can stay at 57 feet, which is almost 20 meters, for unlimited time. So you can see I'm almost at 2 hours, and no problem. We're loving life with the rebreather. That's the beauty of it. We can stay down there forever. As a matter of fact, in a lot of these dives that we do, we actually go out on boats. Like the operator that we use in this case is called Pura Vida out of West Palm Beach. And like one group will jump in first, and another group will jump in with us, and then we'll continue to dive. The group will run out of air. They'll go to the boat. They'll be on the boat for an hour doing something called a surface interval. And then after the hour, they'll jump in, do the whole dive, run out of air, and then they'll come out, and then we'll come out after them. So we'll do both of their dives, surface interval, all of that, all underwater instead of coming up, which is pretty awesome. All right, so you can hear that sound. I wanted to leave the sound so you can hear how it looks. And this is one of those times where I flip the camera around me. So you can see how much of a noob I am on this one. A couple things to point out. You can see my loop is all over the place. It's kind of like twisted. It's like coming up in this way and then going up and that way. It's just kind of weird. I'm wearing my Apex mask, which right now I only wear when I'm teaching open circuit. I now wear a Poseidon mask, which is made for rebreathers. It's called a Poseidon black line mask. And I'm using a BOV, or a bailout valve, which has a regulator built into it. So you can see there's a hose coming into this regulator, and there's this lever right here, which as long as I'm on the rebreather, the lever is up. But if I have an emergency or whatever, I can flip this lever down, and then I go into a regular regulator, which is connected to a bailout tank, which I have on the other side. When I switch back to David and Woody, I'll show you I'll show you where that is, you know, where the tank is on their side. And that tank that they're using, like I said, is a bailout tank, which means we only use it if we need it. If we need to bail out, if we have an emergency, whatever it is, we bail out. So here I am saying, look, there's another loggerhead turtle, dead sleep, no concerns, underwater. Pretty awesome. Look at that, wedge head first, dead sleep. Love those things. Pretty cool. This thing, by the way, in here is a computer. It's called a Shearwater Nerd 2. And it shows me all of the information that you saw earlier on my wrist-mounted computer, but it shows it to me right there by my eye. So I don't have to be looking at my wrist all the time. I dive with 3 computers, actually. So I have a computer on the right arm, which is holding the camera. That computer is not monitoring my rebreather. It's only the other 2. So this one and the one that is on my left wrist, which is the petrol. These computers are hardwired. You can't really tell, but there's a wire going in. Is this wire right here? It's actually coming in and connecting to this guy. Again, this video is old because now I have it routed through the right. So my wire is now way better, routed through the right instead of going left. And my petrol also has a wire and it's back there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's going, you know, into my arm and all the way to my wrist. So that's how it looks. It's a lot of wires and a lot of stuff, but it's all for safety and it's super safe. Alright, so this is in Cozumel. Actually, it's a different place, different video. This is actually my first lionfish kill in Cozumel. This trip was last year. Cozumel is littered with lionfish. And it was interesting because I had an audience. You can see we had like 20 rebreather divers. But the reason why I left this video in here is because we get a question all the time, which is, can you talk to each other or hear each other underwater? And the answer is yes. With rebreathers, you can. So if you pay attention, I won't talk too much. If you pay attention, you can hear congratulating each other and kind of talking. And again, there's like 20 rebreathers, which is not common. So when people were out there diving in Cozumel and they saw us go by, it would be like 20 people and no bubbles at all. Like not even our guide. The guy holding the Zookeeper, which is this plastic thing where I'm going to put the lionfish that I just got, he's actually on a rebreather as well. So our guide, everyone diving, it's on rebreathers, KISS rebreathers. So when people saw us, they were like, whoa, that was cool. It's not common to see rebreather divers, and to see 20 of them at the same time, it's very, very uncommon. So, all right. That's Woody. He's super excited for me. All right, this is another trip. This is off the coast of Pensacola. We were diving on an oil rig. This is a Chevron oil rig that is decommissioned. So we're right at the bottom. The oil rig goes down to 145 feet. So the bottom is at 145. And the lionfish like to be all the way to the bottom because recreational divers typically stop at 130. So you can see those 2 guys all the way up there. They are recreational divers. So they're all the way up there and they're like, yep, that's as deep as we're going to go. They're trying to find, you know, fish up there. And we're like, no, we're going to be all the way down here. So that's Woody with a spear and his light looking around. We're all hunting. That's me hunting. My PO2 is all over the place. But you can see my depth is 130, so that's 40 meters. We're 33 minutes into the dive, and I'm already into deco. So you can see my time to surface, that's TTS, is 26. So I have, you know, 20-something minutes of deco because I have to, it takes, you know, it's 30 feet per minute to go up. So you do the math, it's about 4 minutes to go up. So about 22 minutes of deco. My first stop is at 50 for 1 minute. And then I'll probably have a few minutes at 40 and then 30 and 20 and so on. So this is why dive computers are, in my opinion, the most important piece of gear, you know, when you dive. Some people say, well, no, your regulator is the most, but like, it doesn't matter. Like I know there's people out there that are like, well, you need to know the tables or whatever. I don't care. Like, computers are the best, and Shearwater computers are the best in my opinion. So I dive Shearwater, and I'm not sponsored by them. They don't pay me. I have nothing but respect for Shearwater. They make a great product. All right, so here's Sonia, who is the silent assassin. She's an amazing rebreather diver. And she's calling me because she saw a lionfish. She's like, come here, come here, come here. She's calling, she's shaking that thing. He's like, watch. I'm gonna shake it. You kill it from the other side. So she puts the thing in, shakes it. And I swim underneath that beam. And looking for it, and I spot him. So I gotta reload. That's right. Well, that noise comes from. Bang. Get some. You can hear people celebrating in the distance. And then, bang. That was me hitting my head on the beam. So I got him, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to show it to Woody and brag about my lionfish. And then Woody's light is going off, which means come here, come here, come here. And then he has a super massive one. So here I was trying to show off, and he has one that is like 4 times the size of mine. Look, even David is like, oh my god. And you can see the zookeeper is almost full. There it is. That's awesome. Alright guys, so we got to the end. Woody was getting desperate, looking for lionfish everywhere. And you can see he got desperate. He's even getting into these scary holes looking for fish. Please go ahead and subscribe and like this video if you like scary holes. And we'll see you on the next one.